You are watching Luminary Lectures.
सो हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम स्टार्ट करने जा रहे हैं हमारी क्लास 9th का चैप्टर 5 एआई का ग्रीन स्किल्स। और ये चैप्टर थोड़ा सा लेंदी है, सो वी माइट मिस सम पॉइंट्स। तो इसलिए मैं इस चैप्टर के इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स बता देती हूँ। पहला है व्हाट आर ग्रीन स्किल्स और व्हाट इज़ ग्रीन स्किल। इन दिस आपको डेफिनेशन लिखनी होगी और मे बी 1 to 2 एग्जाम्पल्स आप लिख सकते हो। देन व्हाट इज़ सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, देर आर सम SDG गोल्स, उसके बारे में था तो आप वो थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेना। Then what is the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources, that you have to study very thoroughly. Then what are the 3R, reduce, reuse and recycle, those three. And just learn in your own words also, just learn one line Bengal. Then what are the SDG goals? There is 7 SDG goals which we'll be reading in this chapter further. उसमें से ऐसा आ सकता है that explain any 2 SDG goals by using real life examples. सो एक बार रीड कर लेना। ऑल दो बुक में नहीं दिए हुए हैं SDG गोल्स, बट यू लाइक फॉर सेफ्टी यू लर्न देम। ओके, एक बार गो थ्रू भी कर लोगे, अपने वर्ड्स में लिख के आओगे तो ठीक चलेगा। देन ग्रीन इकोनॉमी एंड ग्रीन जॉब्स, दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड you must study them. Then examples of green skills, for example a solar panel is a very good example of a green skill. ठीक है, because we are not harming the environment, instead we are using the environment by not wasting anything. Okay, then the definition of green skills, as I told you in the first question itself, that what is it? It is about creating jobs, industries and companies which will not harm our environment. That if we'll notice, even the pages from which we are studying out the books, right, they are also from papers taken from the trees. We are cutting down the trees to make papers. So we have to create things such as reusable things by doing 3R process, right? उससे हमारे एनवायरनमेंट को हार्म नहीं पहुंचेगा। नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द टॉपिक इंट्रोडक्शन। द एनवायरनमेंट अराउंड अस अफेक्ट्स ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ आवर लाइफ एंड ऑल आर डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज़ ऑल्सो अफेक्ट द एनवायरनमेंट। जो हमारा एनवायरनमेंट है वो हमारी लाइफ के हर एक पहलू को इफ़ेक्ट करता है या इफ़ेक्ट भी कर सकता है हमारी डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, if there's a very traffic when you are on your way to home, if there's a lot of traffic, you'll come to home in a very bad mood. So your environment affects a lot to you. Okay, those who live in cities get their food supply from surroundings villages and in turn are dependent on forest। तो विलेज साइड के लोग फॉरेस्ट और ग्रासी एरिया पे डिपेंडेंट है। now we'll not waste much time on the introduction because I've already given you an overview of this chapter. So now let's move on to our next topic. Okay, so the first topic is session 1, society and environment. अब यहाँ पे हमारी सोसाइटी, इन्वायरमेंट और क्या क्या चीज़ें विच कंसिस्ट ऑफ इट। सोसाइटी में क्या आते हैं? मे बी सोसाइटी इज़ द पीपल, the religions, the caste, it's all society, right? And in environment, what comes in environment? The nature, the trees, the grasses, everything which surround us is our environment, right? Now here is one box, let us read क्योंकि ये MCQs में आ सकता है। The Constitution of India contains specific provisions for the protection and improvement of environmental quality. Article 48A of Constitution says that the state shall endeavour to protect and improve the environment and safeguard। तो ये आर्टिकल है 48A जो हमारे environment, हमारा जो ट्रीज और इन्वायरमेंट के सेफ्टी के लिए बनाया गया है। ठीक है, नाउ द वेरी फर्स्ट टॉपिक ऑफ आवर सेशन 1 इज नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज। नाउ इफ विल टॉक इन आवर वर्ड्स, व्हाट इज नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज? Natural resources simply means that the resources which we have derived from nature. What is nature? The plants, the animals, this is all nature, right? So the resources which you have derived from the nature are natural resources. For example, the trees, the seas, the oceans, these are all natural resources, right? the water, the land, you can see it here. Okay, now moving on to our next page. Here is something written about forest. ये पूछा जा सकता है, what are the advantages of forest if only one chapter is coming? And here are the advantages given, that it regulates climate on the very first line. Okay, prevents flood, storm protection, and nutrient cycling. These are some advantages. Okay, then here are written here is written, it may be a solid, liquid or gas. It may also be organic or inorganic. जो नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज हैं वो बहुत सारे फॉर्म्स में भी आते हैं. वो सॉलिड में भी हो सकता है, लिक्विड में भी हो सकता है, गैस में भी हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू टॉक अबाउट सॉलिड नेचुरल रिसोर्स, it can be the trees, the plants, right? Then if we talk about liquid, the water, the best example is the water as a natural resource. Then for air we have oxygen, we have several gases, right? So yeah, these all are natural resources, metallic and not metallic. So there are many types of natural resources, granites and many more. Okay, bromine, diamonds, etc, etc. Then there are many types of resources. Okay, the first type is land resource, then forest resource. Okay, so how is land resource a natural resource? Because we use land as a resource and we have not made it by our hands. We have always had land. Okay, we have always had a place to rely to live on, right? Then how is forest a resource? Obviously forest is a natural resource, so it gives us various things such as furnitures, and we have not made it by ourselves. So ये line तो you can write everywhere that we have not made it by ourselves. Water is a very good resource. यहाँ पे if you can see there is written that includes rivers, lakes, oceans, है ना? So in this sense it is also a resource. Now what is a resource? Because from like 10 to 20 times I have repeated the term resource. Resource is a support, a supply of a thing. Okay, a thing which we have with us, which we have for doing our usual works. Okay, so we saw land is a resource, we stand on it. Forests are the resource, they help us to breathe, the oxygen is important there, and they give us papers. Then water is a resource, of course we drink water by purifying it, of course. Then mineral resource, what are the mineral resources? The metals, non-metals, such are mineral resources. Some are also non-renewable. Okay, now mineral resources are non-renewable. What are non-renewable and renewable? First comes renewable resources, the resources which can, when they end up, they can be again made up by the nature. For example, we can say that plants, the trees, the oxygen. Okay, but the non-renewable resources are the resources which once ended cannot be renewed again, cannot be made again. For example, the petrol, the coal. Okay, so they are non-renewable resources. Now coming up to food resources, we have resources that are used for food. Obviously food is a resource because it helps us to stay alive, right? Then energy resource, we have very sources of energy in two senses. First, the energy which we get from planets, and the energy which we have inside us. Okay, but here we are talking about the energy of the nuclear fusion in the sun, the solar energy, of course, which we call gravity generated by earth and moon. It is 1/6 if you have studied in physics. Then natural resources fall under the following main categories. Now we have 4 categories: inexhaustible, exhaustible, renewable and non-renewable. So I have told you what are renewable and non-renewable. Now let's study what is inexhaustible and exhaustible. The resources that cannot be exhausted by human consumption are called inexhaustible. These include energy sources like solar radiation, wind power, water power and tidal power. For example, हम कितनी कोशिश कर लें वो resources कभी ख़त्म ही नहीं होंगे. These resources are known as inexhaustible resources. Okay, now coming on, what is exhaustible resources? The resources which are in limited quantities. or if we'll continuously use them, they will just end up like nothing. Okay. And what are they all? The coal, which I gave you example. So if we'll see that renewable resources, exhaustible and inexhaustible resources are same in many ways, right? So by this we conclude with our very first topic, and then we have in further we have classified this in many such topics, and I've told you the important topics. So if the next video doesn't come, you make sure to prepare them and good to go. And tell me, just comment down which next video you want so I can make it. तब तक के लिए thank you very much.